association. And the best news is that the bars are open as late as you want them to be, and you don't have to worry about how to get home because you're already there. So grab a drink, let's have some fun, let's celebrate some folks. I want to kind of echo Sean and Melissa and just thank all of our generous sponsors, our exhibitors for the event. We really appreciate their support. Our amazing association staff that they were speaking about, countless association volunteers that helped put on this conference and all the other great work of the association. It would not be possible without this talented group of folks doing their work on a year-round basis. And we really appreciate everything that they're doing. And I hope that all of you here tonight will join me in thanking all of these individuals any and every time you interact with them for all they do for the association. Specifically, my part here tonight is to take a special minute to recognize the board of directors. Again, your board of directors. This is a group of individuals that has made a sincere and tireless commitment to provide leadership for this association. And it's an honor to serve alongside all of them. If we could, as I go through, I'd ask to do our best to try to find these faces in the crowd here and spotlight them, whether they want to be spotlit or not. I really want to recognize them and have everybody know who these people are. I'm going to start with outgoing board members, folks that are finishing their term. And as I read these names and we spotlight them, I'm also going to read the name of the company that they represent in their day job, to remind everybody that these are all volunteers. They all have full-time jobs outside of this, which makes their commitments that much more meaningful. Our outgoing board members who have just completed their terms, Mandy Stewart with Experiential Resources has just finished a 3-year term. She has been involved in everything in this association for a long time, and I'm sure that she will continue to be. Most specifically, she has been the secretary of the board, and she's enjoying a retirement drink, well-deserved. Thank you, Mandy. Paul Cummings, Strategic Adventures. There it is. It's been pointed out in the chat that he seems to be in a different part of the house than his wife, and his wife says that's for the best. So looks like Paul's retirement's going well. Paul also completed a 3-year term on the board, and I'm really going to miss him in the room. Billy Simpson from Abbey, there it is. Billy just completed a 1-year special term. He got in on kind of a special term when Scott Andrews left the board to go to be an association staff member. And really appreciate Billy's contributions over the last year. And Billy has been running for re-election to join us in the room again next year. We'll see how that turns out here in just a minute with the election results. But thank you, Billy. Thanks to this whole group for their enormous contributions to the association over the last year and 3 years and in general. And as much as I hate to say it, let's pull the spotlight off of those folks. And I'm going to recognize next board members who are in the middle of their terms. We'll start with Keith Jacobs from Experiential Systems. He is currently the board vice chair. Cameron Annis from Granite Insurance, who's currently the board treasurer. Baman Azarm, Outdoor Venture Group. Victor Gallo, Adventure Playground. Rohan Shahani, Challenge Works. And Sean Tierney, who is a member of the board of directors by default as the executive director. And myself, again, Carson Rivers, and I'm from Challenge Towers. I want to thank all these individuals for their continued service. Hopefully we'll keep being able to find a few of them in the crowd and add them in. I want to add to this group folks who have just won election and are joining us in the room. We have Corey Hampton from French Broad Adventures. She was elected by the PVMs and announced Monday at the AGM. So she's a board member now for the better part of a week, trying to figure out what it means. Connor James from the Aspen Skiing Company was elected by the general membership. I've been meeting with Connor this week as well, trying to get him on board and ready to jump in with both feet. He's excited. And last but not least, we have a winner of the runoff election for the last remaining open seat elected by the PVMs, and that is Billy Simpson from Abbey. Will be joining us for another 3-year term in the boardroom. We're excited to have him back with us this year. Going to welcome all these individuals with open arms. Hope that all of you in the community will help support them in their transition into the board and into serving you as an association. Let them know how they can best do that. That's what they're here for. And for the first time, with a few faces missing, this is your 2021 Board of Directors. It'll be an honor. Lastly, I just want to take a moment to recognize the others who had the courage to run for the board this year. That is not an easy thing, to put yourself out there in front of this group of your peers and ask them to vote on whether or not they would support you being on the board. And so I want to take a minute to acknowledge those folks who had the courage to step up and run. In the seat, for the seat elected by the general membership, we had a great list of candidates: and Stephen Coppin from Candia Springs Adventure Park, Jason Ong from NRS, Troy Richardson from Momentum Engineering. For the seats elected by the professional vendor members, we had Corey Wall from Challenge Design Innovations, Lauren Stover from NC State University, and Niels DeMond from Experiential Resources, who was the other candidate in the runoff that had to wait agonizingly for a week to this moment to find out. But we thank all of them for, again, their courage and willingness to serve. I recognize that many of those individuals already serve in volunteer roles in our association, and thank them for that. But we just encourage that group of folks to hold on to that spirit of service that made them run for the board in the first place, and try to find another spot in the association to serve. We would love to have your help, and we truly appreciate it. Thanks for listening and allowing me to share with you today. I'm going to yield the floor for a great slideshow of our Where Are You Wednesday winners from the past year. Hope you enjoy. Thanks.
Hey everybody, Sean Tierney, Executive Director of ACCT. This is the portion of our awards ceremony where the staff present their Community Service Award. The Community Service Award started in 2016. It was developed by staff to really acknowledge, recognize, and give kudos to volunteers who have really gone above and beyond the call of duty. We have roughly 120 volunteers that work for the association, volunteering obviously, and they all deserve recognition, acknowledgement, and kudos for what they do for the association and for the industry. But it's not possible, obviously, with 120 people to do that for everybody. So the Community Service Award, which was started in 2016, developed by staff to really acknowledge those volunteers who are really have gone above and beyond the call of duty, so to speak, and deserve some special recognition for the work they've done in the past year. It's a great award among the many awards that we offer. Again, this one's called the Community Service Award to recognize volunteers who have really done outstanding work during the past year for the association and the industry. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Melissa Webb, our events director, and she's going to kick us off.
Welcome everyone, and hopefully by this point in the conference experience, you've had a chance to enjoy several of our conference workshop sessions put on by some of our world-class presenters. I would be remiss if I didn't start this whole thing out by thanking all of our presenters for all of the time and energy that they've put into making this virtual conference possible for us. But absolutely want to make sure that we're thanking everybody who's really stepped up and stepped up to the plate and contributed in all the ways to pull this whole thing together. So every conference, you guys hear the whole spiel from me about how my conference work group is my right hand. Many of those people I'm on calls with regularly throughout the months and weeks leading into the conference. Some of those folks put in, the amount of time that's equivalent to a part-time ACCT employee position if we had one. But unfortunately, we do not. However, shifting from our live conference experience to a virtual conference has been a big shift for all of us. It's been a big shift for us as staff. It's been a big shift for me as the events director. It's been a big shift for the conference work group. But I feel incredibly fortunate that in making this move, that I had all of the right players in place to pull this whole thing off. So I want to kick off our Community Service Awards by recognizing the conference work group and acknowledging them for the extra effort that they've put in to making this virtual conference possible for all of you, for the endless hours that they put into prepping presenters, to doing dry runs, audiovisual checks for presenters, hoping to load the content into the virtual attendee hub, scheduling all sorts of calls and logistical things to just make this whole thing possible. So this year, I would like to personally recognize the ACCT Conference Workshop Coordinators, Alexis Webb-Bechtel, Elizabeth Anderson, Mike Dill, Satpal Sagu, and then our service crew coordinators, Karina Surface, Lee Caruth, special projects coordinators, Jason Rose and Rob Armstrong, the exhibit hall liaisons, Jessica Bird Brown and Alexis Stolianitis, registration coordinator, Misty Avara, and our digital coordinator, Tyler Quackenbush. So I shared their titles, although I can say that many of them have served in so many different roles this year that do not necessarily fit their standard workshop coordinator titles, conference work group titles. They've all stepped up to the plate. We've had weekly multiple hour calls as a conference work group. We've had multiple weekly calls for the conference workshop coordinators. And literally I have been on the call probably all day, every day with someone from my conference work group that has assisted in pulling this whole thing together. So they are 100% the glue behind making this event possible for all of you to be able to join us and participate in this virtual conference experience. Lastly, not presenting an award necessarily to these folks because staff don't qualify for the Community Service Awards, but I want to make sure that I acknowledge too that in putting on the events, the staff rallies pretty hard every year to pull off a live event for our conference. However, this year, without a doubt, in addition to their own responsibilities with pulling off the things that they have to do for their daily task lists, their work groups, their groups that they're responsible for, that they liaise between from the board or whatnot, that these folks have joined me and come right alongside with me to help me research platforms, to help me find the appropriate times to be doing things, to help me process things. So the staff has also stepped up to the plate and really joined the charge to make this virtual conference possible. So thank you all on this call, but definitely want to make sure that the conference work group is acknowledged for the massive amount of workload that they have taken on to pull this event together for you guys this year. Thank you so much. And I'm going to turn it over to Heather Brooks, our program manager.
Thank you, Melissa. I have not only had the privilege, but also the honor to work with roughly 45 to 50 of our volunteers just within the program department alone. Recently, like Melissa has says, I have also had the opportunity to work with other volunteer groups that I would not normally have the opportunity to work with. I have been able to watch everyone's hard work and dedication to the association, and it has been truly inspiring. I could go on for quite some time for all my admiration that we have for our volunteers, who not only share their time with staff, but also with the association. Everything you do is greatly appreciated. And I hope that all of you can be proud of the work that you do, the person that you are, and the difference that you make to our association. Today, I would like to honor two volunteers who have stepped forward anytime myself or others have needed help. They both dedicate extra time and energy to improving the program department, and have also both exceeded any and all expectations that we have as staff for our volunteers. First, I would like to honor Johnny Truman, who has been a part of the inspector certification panel for the last 2 years and has gone above and beyond, proctoring, helping write exams, writing down history, stepping up to any challenge that has been faced in the inspector certification panel when it's needed. I also would like to recognize Corey Hampton, who is a volunteer for the Operation Accreditation Panel, the Universal Portfolio Task Force, and is a member of TIRE, which is the Technical Information Research and Education Committee. She is also a co-trainer for the Operation Reviewer Training, and her impressive time commitment and dedication to multiple groups has been completely unmatched. So with these two, again, I wish I could give this award to all the members and volunteers that I do work with. But I greatly appreciate everything that these two do and each and every one of our volunteers do. Next, I am going to pass it to John, who is going to share his.
Hi. I have the opportunity to work with a number of volunteers and staff work groups, and this year I am happy to present an award as a past recipient of this award to the chair of our membership work group, Andy Brash. He doesn't just work in my work group, but he does a lot of work in there to make my life easier, keeping that group on task and coming up with great tasks for them to accomplish. He also works within the program department and I think several other volunteer groups. But he is our super volunteer that I am, again, happy to present this award to this year. Andy Brash, chair of the work group, this membership work group. I'm going to hand it over to Scott, who will wrap things up.
All volunteers in the association make the work that we do to further the challenge course, aerial adventure, and zipline industry possible. And those volunteers this year who've stepped up in a difficult time to make this conference possible, to bring Operation Accreditation online, to do the trainings in many different places, and to improve and encourage our membership, deserve our special thanks this year in this challenging time. We want to thank those people and all of our volunteers for all their work, because without what you do, the association would not exist. So thank you from our hearts to your efforts. Thank you very much. Sean?
Excellent. I just also wanted to add my thank you, heartfelt thank you to all of our volunteers, and especially to the award winners from this year's 2021 Community Service Awards. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Tom Leahy, who is going to present and talk about the Critical Link Award. Thank you all so much for watching this segment, and stay tuned for more.
Good evening. My name is Tom Leahy, and it's my honor to be the coordinator of the Critical Link Award and guide of the gathering of past winners. This award is the highest honor presented by the ACCT. ACT is a volunteer organization and the result of the efforts of an astounding number of people. These people give of their time without compensation or benefits associated with full-time employment. They often travel great distances with minimal or no reimbursement, and they give energy that would otherwise go to the advancement of their own career and businesses. I first heard of the gathering of vendors of what would be evolved into ACT at the AEE Santa Fe conference in 1989. But it was at the third gathering in 1991 at Northeastern University when practitioners were first welcomed into the circle. I remember about 50 participants at that symposium. Now that number is much more representative of a single workshop session at ACT. The circle is much larger now, and the products of this collaboration is astounding. Volunteers and staff work actively since 1988 to join together in collaboration, create this association, build consensus for our standards, run our committees, make this conference work, engage in the surge of government regulations, and to respond to the accidents and fatalities that endanger our participants, employees, and our livelihood. The explosive growth in recent years has created opportunity, chaos, and yet some of the greatest challenges to our field. The first challenge course in the US was built by Outward Bound in Marble, Colorado in 1962. This isolated and beautiful site is the root of what any of us is doing now. And it had its birth and foundation in the realm of education, therapy, and personal growth. Please help us to preserve and support programs who continue to provide this vital work on shoestring budgets and aging courses. These programs represent the beginning of the chain of which we are all now a part. ACT is at the core of the challenge course, canopy tour, zip line, and adventure park industry, and there is synergy here. The exploding attendance at our conferences and our growing membership stands in testimony to this fact. We need this synergy to continue and to grow. It is your energy that is called for, and it is you who must rise up and lead this organization into the future. You are needed. The Critical Link Award has been given since 2002 to a member of ACT whose contributions over the years have been seen as significant in the development, maintenance, and growth of the ACCT. The intent of this award is to honor one individual who has served the organization by creating and maintaining critical links to activities within ACT and external to ACT in promoting the mission and evolution of ACT. Sometimes the winner is a person whose role in the association is highly visible, and sometimes they work quietly and steadily behind the scenes. This award is not a popularity contest or given just because someone met the expectations of being an officer on the board. The Critical Link Award can go to anyone, not just a PVM. It is given each year as a thoughtful and sincere thank you to a single member who has gone above and beyond over a long period of time. Tonight's recipient, I know you will all join me in saying, well done and thank you. After tonight's award, there will be a reception for the winner as part of the evening gathering. You'll receive separate information about where to go. I would now like to invite Micah Henderson, the 2020 recipient, to make the presentation. Thank you.
All right, welcome everyone. Can you hear me now? Great. I hope your 2021 conference experience has been excellent. I am honored to have the opportunity to present the Critical Link Award to this year's recipient. This award and its presentation to this year's winner is very special to me. So many of you have contributed your time, energy, and probably most importantly, passion into our challenge course and aerial adventure course industry. This year's winner has not only contributed to the industry at large, but also to the ACCT directly. They have served for many years as an exceptional volunteer for this association. In my experience with this person, I can say with confidence that ACCT would not be where it is today without their perspective, their behind-the-scenes work, and their communication skills. This year's winner started in the industry around 1984 when they helped build and run one of the first challenge courses in their large geographic area. They became a program director in 1988 and began an adventure learning center that offered adventure programming to schools and community groups. Their professional history also includes Outward Bound and many other outdoor education facilities. They began their own business and took over operations of that adventure learning center in 1993. Their company achieved accreditation as a professional vendor member, or PVM, in 2007. For the ACCT, they have contributed to many volunteer groups as a critical and strategic times of growth. Their initial involvement with the ACCT may have begun with service on the Qualified Challenge Course Professional, or QCCP, task force. Since then, they have served on the Installation Standards Committee, Secretary of the Board of Directors for 3 years, and on the Interim Management Committee during an executive director transition. He ended up helping Melissa organize the ACCT conference with very little warning. He currently serves on the Accreditation and Certification Committee and serves as a board emeritus member. While I was aware of his professional skills, I also conducted secret research to put together this presentation and have learned many things about his personal life and history that I think you should all know. This year's winner may have developed a love for the outdoors at an early age while spending summers at the family cabin with his parents and grandparents. He was active in Scouts for years and was a cub leader in high school, nicknamed Bagheera from Jungle Book. Ever the entrepreneur, he destroyed the family car, collecting newspapers as a fundraiser to attend a Boy Scout jamboree in 1983. In my research, I was thrilled to learn that he has always employed female builders and has employed more than 10 female builders since 1993. It's hard to tell who he is in these pics, but the quality of the image should show you how long he's been doing this stuff. I also learned that his favorite group initiative is apparently called Forkwad. Now, I don't know that activity, but I really wanted to say the words in my presentation. I have also discovered a few non-challenge course fun facts about him. He enjoys watching football on Sundays, especially the Steeltown teams, while baking bread, doing laundry, and cooking a roast dinner that is timed perfectly with halftime. He enjoys tracking down a decent bottle of Belgian beer in Ontario. He enjoys traveling with his wife, Tracy, whom he met at that same summer camp back in 1986, and his 2 children, Andrew and Miles. Apparently, he makes an excellent cinnamon roll, and he does not like oatmeal raisin cookies. He actually considers them vastly misleading to those who were expecting chocolate chips. In his younger days, he played a significant amount of Dungeons and Dragons and still uses his name, Zvergu. He also has a historic love of the band U2 and apparently moonlights as a DJ spinning alternative music and wearing eyeliner and earrings. Some of his favorites are Joy Division, New Order, Depeche Mode, and the Thompson Twins. Many people throughout our industry have had the joy of learning from, working beside, and celebrating successes with this amazing leader. Rest assured, he may not speak loudly or often, but when he does, it's time to take note and listen. His impact has been critical to the development of our industry. Tonight's presentation is exceptionally special for me. I have served beside him, laughed with him, and have had him on speed dial for the moments when I needed to freak out or just cry hysterically. Tonight, we honor him. Please join me in welcoming Brian Lisson as the next ACCT Critical Link recipient. Now, due to COVID, the award is being delivered on a zip line through Brian's back patio door. I am hoping we don't shatter any glass in this process. The bear is COVID safe. All right, Brian, go get your award. Somebody should unmute Brian so we can all tell him that we're watching him.
This is not the first time there's been a zip line in my backyard.
Well, I'd have come to Canada if they'd let me, but you know, it's Canada. And I have
Yeah, there's that wall and all. Yeah.
Did you find it?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's right at the back door here. I'm trying to execute a rescue here. Hold on.
Well, I wish we could be together to celebrate, Brian. If it weren't for COVID, I might even consider
Likewise.
giving you a hug.
Well,
maybe next year.
But this was like your best scenario, virtual hugs.
I know, really, I'm the luckiest person around to get to do this during COVID. So just because you're receiving this award in the comfort of your home doesn't mean you can't get away with not saying a few words to tonight's crowd. As I'm looking right now, there's like 95 people in the Zoom room and probably countless others out on the live stream that I don't know anything about right now.
Here we go.
Did you get it?
I got it. It's in a very heavy box. I will.
Well, congratulations, Brian.
Here we go. Here we go. There we go. I think I got it in the shot here.
You did.
Thank you.
Great.
Awesome. Let me just get sitting down here.
Yeah, you should say some things.
I'm shivering. It's cold outside in Canada.
Oh, I bet that's what it is. Yes.
Well, thank you, Micah. And first, thank you and congratulations to the previous award winners. You have been certainly an inspiration and cajoled and invited me to, participate in all the ways that I've been able to. So I guess first I just want to say a couple of words of thanks. First to Tracy and my kids, Miles and Andrew, who really bear the brunt of those of us who volunteer a lot, because they really do all the things while we're on the phone or traveling to meetings and such. So first, thank you. Hi, thanks. Who was that? Oh, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. And second, to my Adventure Works team, Kathy, who just socially distanced, poked her head in the door. Apparently, she was responsible for something to do with the zip line, I'm sure. But thanks to my Adventure Works family, who again, while I was off busy doing board of directors work and interim management committee work, really, kept everything moving. And to just the countless volunteers in this association, I have to say that, none of us do this because there's an award. We do it because we see a need, because we want to help, because we want to make things better in the industry. That's certainly been my motivation. And for all the we might talk of all the work and all the time and all those things. At the end of the day, I have gotten way more back from this community than I have given, both professionally and personally. And that has been particularly the case over these last 8 or 10 pretty challenging months through COVID, that it's been this community who has been a great source of support and friendship and all those kinds of things, as I have, and no doubt other people in our field have been incredibly challenged. So thank you for that. And I really want to say that I'm sure I no doubt have received this honor in part because of I'm on the management committee, and I just really want to thank you, Micah, and Ryan Olson and Bill Weaver, who were part of that journey, and for all the challenging work that we did together. It was really enjoyable doing that work together. So thank you for that. Volunteering in this association in a lot of ways is it is a lot of time and it's a lot of work, but it's also really easy because it is a great group of people who are all committed to making both the association and our industry and field better. And so I have been happy to serve and participate in that, and look forward to all the other things we'll all do together. So thank you for this. It is a great honor, and I am indeed honored to join that group of previous winners of the Critical Link Award. So thanks very much. And here it is again. Here we go. Oh yeah, and there's a bear with a helmet. Here we go. Here. This is the person who delivered it. Oh, and a t-shirt. Here we go. And hugs to everyone.
Congratulations to all those whose hard work was acknowledged, won awards tonight, and especially to ACCT's Critical Link Award winner. Congratulations. Let me begin by wrapping this up with just a few more announcements before we end here tonight. We will be taking surveys and getting your feedback on all the conference sessions, as well as the entire conference overall. On the Attendee Hub, there'll be those surveys there. If you went to a session or you at least checked into a session, that survey will pop up for that session. If you didn't go to a session, then there'll be no survey there for that one. It's only a few short questions, so go ahead, please fill that out. It really does help the conference planning crew how to plan for next year. The call for presenters is now open for next year's conference as well. If you go to the actconference.com website, you'll see all the information there. We'd love to have you present next year. Go ahead and fill that out if you're interested. And finally, as we wrap up here, please join us afterwards at a little meet and greet session with the ACCT Critical Link Award winner. We're going to go ahead and have just a little session where you can network with other attendees, congratulate the winner, and just enjoy a good time all around. And finally, thank you for coming to this year's conference, moving forward together virtually. Now, next year, be sure to join us live and in person in Cleveland, Ohio.